Final community, welcome back. Here we are with another vinyl finds video. Hope everyone is doing well. I just found out my camera on my iPhone can do 4K, so we're going to give this a go, and if it works, I'll be using my phone from now on. Some people did notice in my last video that I've rearranged my records. I kind of have them all now in a big wall here, which is really nice. I will do a room tour video at some point for sure, since a few people commented, but I just wanted to show you some new arrivals. This is stuff going back to sort of February, I guess. There's a few things that have been high on my want list, and a few other things. But yeah, it's a mixture as always. Yeah, glad to have you here. All right, so this was the first one. It's something that I've been absolutely loving, and it was recommended by my good friend Ben, who lives up in Auckland. This is called The Paths of Pain, the Cairo label from Quito, 1960 to 1968. Now, this is a compilation that was put out by Honest Jons. This came out in September 2021, and it's a, to put it simply, it's a compilation of folk, Ecuadorian folk music, I guess, but it covers a whole bunch of styles and rhythms and feelings within one. I guess as a loose signifier, you would say it's not Benavista Social Club. That's more Latin, but this is more rooted in, I guess, folk rhythms. But this is an amazing compilation. 2 LP, printed on this wonderful thick matte stock. As a designer, I love this cover. I love the feeling. Comes with this amazing booklet here. This is how you do compilations. This is you know, one of the best little packages I've seen on vinyl in a long time. But yeah, I mean, essentially this label here, which I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but the Kaif label was a label that was around for about 8 years in the 60s, and the guy who ran it basically just recorded just about anything he could get his hands on, any artists that were around the area, and they were sort of put onto records and these tapes that the son of the label owner found in the guy's apartment after he passed away. And the son had gone through and found all this amazing material of Ecuadorian music. I mean, it does say in here that by 1968 it was kind of the last gasp of where you would get regional folk music within Ecuador before sort of pop music and sound started drifting in from the Caribbean and from Central America and sort of creating a more homogeneous pop sound. This is kind of a last gasp document of, I guess, yeah, different sounds but using similar instruments and different styles within Ecuador at the time. So yeah, I love this. I think it's so cool. I think it's so fascinating to read about. Yeah, the songs sound weirdly upbeat, but I think the topics are probably more downbeat. There is a couple, this is a warning, there's a couple of tracks with panpipes on them, which may throw you off. But otherwise, yeah, there's some really beautiful voices, really beautiful playing. It does sound very like old worldy would be the way to describe it. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I mean, the record, look at these photographs. The recording is amazing considering where this stuff came from. I'll just show you the inner sleeves here. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite things I've picked up this year. That's a photograph there of where they found some of the tapes and records. Yeah, it's really special. So thank you again, Ben, for recommending this to me. I love it. All right, another one that I had been meaning to pick up for a while. I think Fred Big Star 1000 switched me onto this about a year ago. This is Cachaito by, that's probably not how you pronounce it either, Orlando Cachaito Lopez. Now, He is most famous for his work as the bass player in Buena Vista Social Club. So this is his album as a ringleader from 2001. Came out on World Circuit, featuring some big names here. We've got Hugh Masekela, Pee Wee Ellis, and Ibrahim Ferrer. Yeah, I think there's a couple of Buena Vista Social Club, the more contemporary members on here. But yeah, what is this? This is a Latin record, but really fused with a whole bunch of styles. Jazz weaves in and out of this, bits of dub and reggae, bits of hip hop. I read a review online that said this is a perfect Sunday afternoon record that you can put on, you know, if the windows are open in your house, the sun is shining, yeah, or it sounds like a jam session down the street kind of thing. It's really beautiful. There's nothing challenging here. It's just good vibes only. But yeah, I think this is done really, really well. Got a really nice little booklet here. Yeah, and it's super interesting. Honestly, this is a big call. As much as I like those Buena Vista albums, for me, the compositions are way more interesting and diverge a bit more. Yeah, I guess you would call it Cuban rhythms, Cuban music, but with some crossover points. Please check it out. The bass playing is really fantastic on it. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this one. All right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to show this first. This is a bit of a sad story. I did manage to get a very early pressing of this wonderful record. But, and this is my fault, I bought it from a Japanese website and it was all in Japanese and my Google Translate wouldn't translate everything and the record had heat damage on it, but I didn't read that or I couldn't see it being in Japanese on the website. And so I thought I got this for a really good price, but when I got here, it's warped to hell. There's all these burn marks on the record, so unfortunately it's unplayable, which is a real shame because it's a favorite record, and I can't do anything with it. And you know, I paid a decent amount. It was definitely cheaper than it should be, but I can't really on-sell this record knowing what it's unplayable. So I'm just going to keep it. I don't really know what to do with it, to be honest. It's kind of just a blah. So it's a shame because I thought I had, you know, pulled off a major score and I was looking for it. It took 3 weeks to arrive and I was looking forward to it. And then, yeah, I kind of, yeah, it was a bit disappointing. Anyway, not really any point in me showing that. There you go. Okay, 2 albums that I've been after for a long time and they were sort of creeping up in value, so I grabbed them. This is the 2 Catherine Riberio and Alpes records, Pay, meaning peace, and Ame Debut. These are really wonderful folk, prog, French records. I don't know how you would describe them. Really atmospheric and a little bit haunting at times. I don't know how you would describe what this is. Just check it out on the internet if you can. I really rate them. They're really fantastic. They have been reissued a few years back, but they were both French presses on the Phillips label. I was going to try and tell you what year this came out, but I've forgotten. I want to say it's something like 76 and 74. But yeah, if you don't know these, please check them out. Yeah, if you're into, I guess, I don't know, French folk or French prog, or like even bits of like Henry Texier in terms of the musicianship, and you know how those Texier records have a really specific ambience to them? I can hear bits of that on these records here. But yeah, I like them. They're really good. All right, let's stay. I don't know how I'm going to describe this one either, but this is one that someone, Dave Belson, showed many years ago, and I fell in love with the cover. Before I knew who Magma was, before I knew who Laurent Venet was, before I knew about a lot of the French players, this always intrigued me, and I really listened to it online. I didn't know anything about Prague or Zool or anything like that, but yeah, this has been creeping up in price lately as well. and I was always not wanting to pay a lot for it. And then about 8 months ago, they stopped popping up at all. And then one came up and sold straight away. Another one came up for a crazy price and sold straight away. And I was like, okay, next time a copy goes on sale on Discogs, I just have to buy it, because otherwise it'll just be part of the realm of unreachable. But I did get a copy. I got a really good price for it. I won't pronounce the title. Maison. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I'll butcher it. But this is a really, really wonderful, I guess, atmospheric, proggy, really warm bass. Lots of atmospheric prog. I don't know, Zool music, I guess you would say. I feel like I'm struggling with my descriptions this evening. I can't even think of a comparison. This wonderful artwork is by, you may recognize it, it's by Henry Rousseau, on the Ballon Noir label from 1978. So I should say, if you don't know, Laurent Thibault, or Thibault, I don't know how you pronounce that, was in Magma, and this is a solo album, and if you're going to get a Magma solo album, I would say this is probably one of the better ones. I do really love this. There's lots of like fretless bass, which may put people off, but it's very dreamy and very moving, and very relaxing, and quite psychedelic, I guess. Psychedelic, it invokes. It's a trippy listen, I would say. I really enjoy it. Wonderful. What else have we got in this lovely stack here? A BYG that I really wanted. I'm finding it really hard to justify buying BYG actual records now, because kind of I know what I'm getting with them, and I have a lot of them, and I don't need many more. But this was one of the ones I really wanted. I'm a big Steve Lacy fan. I love that this is that covers is inversed in terms of having a black cover with white text. I love Steve Lacy. I saw the lineup in here, and there was lots of people I didn't know. I think this was recorded in Italy, as opposed to the majority of sessions on BYG Actual were recorded in France, in Paris. But this one was done in I want to say northern Italy. The only other name I did know on here is Jacques Thibault on drums. His album, oh my god, what was it called? It was reissued on the Souffle Continue label, and I have that and I really enjoy it. The other people, someone else might know who these people are, but someone called Italo Toni, Irene Aibi, Claudio Volante, and Marcelo Milis. I'd never heard of these people before. But this is really interesting. It's I wouldn't say it's a favorite Steve Lacy by a long way. It's definitely more of a aggressive set rather than intricate and detailed, and I don't know. It's definitely hits you in the face more so than you find yourself listening to the intricacies, I would say. But that's what a lot of those BYG records are like. They're not known for being I guess subtle is what you would say. But Steve Lacy Mood, BYG Actual. I don't know the release date. All right, we got a few more. This is a record that was sent to me for free. Unfortunately, I was given the record without the cover, so I ended up printing and making my own cover and back cover. This is Cachaito presents the Creative Arts Ensemble. So this is a 12-inch with one track on each side, 45 RPM. The first track is called Unity, and it was only available on their 1983 release called New Horizons. It's just a really long 9-minute spiritual jazz jam with amazing piano and haunting saxophones, and it's just a really feel-good vibe. Think of like the longer spiritual cuts on like Themby, maybe from Pharoah Sanders or something like that. And the second side is a track called Spring Ran Into Summer, which I'm pretty sure is a standard, I think. I could be wrong. And it's ends up being a vocal piece. But yeah, it's really wonderful. If you don't know the Creative Arts Ensemble, check them out. There's an album called One Step Out, which is regarded as one of their biggest. I think they only released 2 albums. I could be wrong. Maybe they released 3. I could be incorrect. But yeah, I was really happy to get this. I didn't expect it. I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, really beautiful. And speaking of handmade covers, this is going to be a weird one, but again, my friend Ben sent me. He bought a bunch of records, and they all came warped. And they sent him replacement records, and he kept the warp ones, but he gave them to me. And they're all, it's hard to explain, but there's a label called Cairo Records, which released these amazing compilations in these beautiful packages of soul and funk music. And these compilations seem to be generally themed within a certain year, or they have a certain vibe about them. The description usually kind of indicates of what that is, and there's more famous artists, there's really obscure cuts to the songs, there's sort of classics in there. It's really hard to describe, but when you put them on, they just sound fantastic. They have a really great vibe to them. I think Ben's collected them all. They've come in these amazing packaging with like gold foil on them. Yeah, they tick a lot of boxes, but he sent me those, and I had kind of like made my own versions of them, and I printed off the covers here. So this is one here. I could read out some artists that you may know. The big track on this one is Dorondo, Didn't I, which is a beautiful song. And then stuff that Irma Franklin, lots of names that I never heard of. I don't have a massive soul collection, so that was really cool. Each one is 3 LPs, so I have 6 in total. Yeah, I just really love them. If you're into soul music, please check out Cairo Records. And then I kind of printed out the back. This one is called Written on the Wall, American Soul Music, 1958 to 74. And Do You Believe It, American Soul Music, 1960 to 1972. So yeah, that was really cool. I really love these. Thank you for sending them to me, Ben. I kind of feel like every time I want to play soul, I'll just play these now. I feel like I'm never going to go to my other soul records. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It's just a really nice, easy record to put on. You can't go wrong with them. And the last thing I picked this up ages ago, like back in, was it like a year ago or something like that? And I completely forgot to show it. Maybe it was more than a year. This is a compilation of New Zealand disco, funk, and soul called Heed the Call. If you're from New Zealand, you'll know what this is. Basically, yeah, what's the thing? New Zealand soul, funk, and disco from 1973 to 1983. So it comes with these really cool printed inner sleeves here. How do I describe this? Yeah, we've got all these little posters and booklets, a little thing. Maybe I'll read this out to you. A double LP collection of 17 of the choicest Maori, Polynesian, soul, funk, and disco tracks from Aotearoa between the Afrotastic decade of 1973 to 83. Collected for the first time on vinyl in 40 years. Unique South Pacific grooves. For me, there's some killer tracks. There's some terrible tracks, and there's some average tracks. Compared to the rest of the world, a lot of these tracks are just alright, but for New Zealand, they're pretty great. Yeah, I really struggle with disco, but I'm sort of over the line with this stuff. I think there's some really, really good stuff in here. Yeah, I've listened to a few of the solo albums of some of these artists, and they're generally crap with like 1 or 2 good songs on it. And that's the case for most of them, apart from, I would say, 2 of the albums on here. So this kind of, in a way, I'm happy to get this, and then I don't need to worry about getting those albums or anything like that. Yeah, it's kind of worth checking out. I'm not into disco. I find some of it very cheesy. There's kind of a bit of cheese on here and there, but there's also some really funky tracks. It's obviously a really important document of this sort of music from New Zealand. It's very unique to hear. But yeah, a really interesting mix of, I guess, I guess in Polynesian and Pacific and Maori culture in here were really, really inspired by disco music, I guess, and that's kind of the product of that. So it's a very unique piece. Check out the track on YouTube, Voodoo Lady by Dalvanius and the Fascinations. That's probably the track that I would suggest to listen to. Yeah, I don't know how available this thing is anymore, but they did put a lot of effort into coming up with these booklets, inner sleeves with all these photographs. Yeah, there's lots to read, and in terms of a package, yeah, it feels like you get a lot of bang for your buck, I guess. So that's it. Yeah, I kind of whipped through those, but that's kind of what I've been listening to. Till next time. Bye.